there's about 0.0001% of the funding is given to the research and science laboratories. STEM is the way forward. So once we understand that, it's number one priority. I wish, Pakistani universities one day can be like Ivy League universities.
Hello everyone. Dr. Habib Ali Bokhari is not someone who requires any introduction, as he is well known by masses. From setting up the biosciences department at Comsat University to being an international and national scholar. He has worked in University of Glasgow, in the University of George Mason. He's a Fulbright scholar. And right now, serving as a VC of Kohsar University, Murree. We are highly grateful and thankful to him to be here with us at PUAN Talks. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and giving us your precious time.
Thank you very much, Kishmala. It's always a pleasure to be with Puan and to be with you to discuss this important topic which you have selected today for me.
Thank you so much, sir. And so, sir, there is this one concept that we keep hearing a word STEM education, STEM education. But what actually is STEM education? How a person who knows it very well defines it?
Okay. So science has been carried out since centuries worldwide, and it has basically provided an impetus to the communities to work on that so that they can come and solve the real life problems. So science has been linked in terms of solving real life problems, and in that way, it is linked with the economic growth and development of the countries.
We see you have a great history of learning from international platforms and then setting up the education system in Pakistan. So what do you see where the STEM education is currently in Pakistan, and how do you have seen it grown, or what would you say?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. In a way that when we were school, college going students, and then university going students, there was a little investment on science, to be honest. And it comes down to the investment on a higher education sector and higher education sectors, in particular on research and development segment, which allows you to work and play with various experimental work. And in order to carry out the experimental work, as you are familiar with the fact, it requires a lot of funding and investment. Now, when we were growing in colleges and universities, there were hardly any laboratories, or if there were laboratories, but they were not fully functional because very little is being invested on that segment. If I correctly remember, uh, in the education research, there's about 0.0001% of the funding is given to the research and science laboratories, and forget about the technical education, which requires a hands-on experience. So that was the situation, and that is still more or less is a similar situation at this time. But with the inception or start of a higher education commission, there was some progress being made. And some money was being given to the universities to basically develop those laboratories which are essential. Now that investment has been being made, and I've seen a gradual improvement in STEM education at university level, but at school and college level, because as I see that they are connected with each other. University is in the center, then schools and colleges, and there are certain affairs which are overlapping. And unless and until this has to be continuously evolved through this continuum, which is a pyramid, school education, college education, university education, you won't see much difference in the top.
Yeah. So how do you think, talking about that, how all of this is in a pyramid, how do you think that government can, or the private institution can play their part to integrate the STEM education from starting on to actually, build on it better?
After this introduction, although we need to understand that the STEM, as we said earlier, that the realization in the society, in the government sector, in the private sector as a whole in the country, that STEM is the way forward. So once we understand that, it's number one priority. Why I'm saying it's a number one priority? Because you know that uh, the real life challenges in various areas, whether that's health, whether that's agriculture, food security, whether that is robotics, AI, you name it, climatology, which is a hot topic nowadays, environmental sciences, medical sciences, cybersecurity, the basis of everything is in the STEM.
How do you see that you would want Pakistan to actually grow in these prospects, right? But what hinders it? Budget comes is like maybe one thing, but what hinders it mostly? How does it affect?
अच्छा दिस इज ये बहुत ही अहम सवाल फिर से आपने को व्हाट हिंडर्स इट अगेन बिकॉज वी आर नॉट कन्विंस्ड नंबर वन कि science can be the solution for us.
Yeah.
The first thing is that we need to, that's where the society should be behind this concept, that science is the way forward, science is the progressive way, and we need to prepare our future generation towards this in order to address the real life problems. Now, just one example perhaps that will clarify that. Now, if I can quote one example of how this technology can help countries to grow, there's a complete cycle for that. And that cycle starts, as I said, from research and development, R&D. Yeah. R&D, for example, in 1 year, an average US spend about 68 to 70 billion dollar rupees on R&D. Now, how this cycle helps them to basically take them where they are standing now. I'm just giving you 1 year's example. It's 2017, 18. If I say that the statistics may be a little up and down, but just to clarify that how it works. So R&D leads to the inventions. Inventions are being evaluated, are then filed as intellectual property rights. Some of them are selected. For example, there are 30,000 inventions in that year. 25,000 happen, and of some of them, maybe half of them, about 15,000 get the IP, intellectual property right. And then those are being further evaluated, and the US patents are being filed, about 8,000, say, out of those patent files. Then out of those patents, how many goes into the market after the licensing? Licensing, marketing, and then the product development.
Yeah.
That product development goes into the, the public, which generates a lot of revenue. So you can imagine the number 8,000 products a yearly they are producing, and thus products are transforming the landscape, and that $68 billion is worth to many, can take you with a 5 times, 6 times, or even 10 times higher revenue generation being that.
Yeah.
Along with that comes down. So that's how the cycle is working. So we need to understand as a society that once we start investing, there's a habit of continuously investing money into that and then giving a fair chance science to flourish. So first thing I feel is that the commitment,
Yeah.
which is required. The second thing is obviously whatever infrastructures are available here. What is hindering is perhaps the lack of connection or disconnect between a faculty and industry, because these inventions, as I mentioned, are mostly happening in the industry.
Yeah.
And our teachers, our faculty hardly interact with them. And this invention is taking place, in this progress and development is taking place, industry is going ahead. And this inventions are not also included in the curriculum. The second thing, when the curriculum is not being continuously updated, then the students are also learning the old stories and old curriculum and being trained on that old curriculum. And then that's how they are not truly linked, integrated with the STEM of the time. So that's we are lacking behind in that. So curriculum, teacher training, and obviously laboratories and infrastructures. These are the three components which are also playing important role, where we feel that a little investment and little attention can help this segment to grow a lot.
Do you also feel there's a gender disparity in between these? Do you think there is less number of women working in STEM, and can something help them grow? What would be the effective ways to have more girls participate in STEM education?
Yes. No, if I say simply answer your question, yes. The reason is that in Pakistan, for example, I have to make it on a lighter note, more concern of parents is रिश्ता.
That's
बच्चियों का
true.
रिश्ता होना चाहिए और बड़ी बच्चियों को रिश्ता तब मिलेगा जब वो मेडिकल डॉक्टर होंगी या वो किसी प्रोफेशन में जाएंगे. That's what the mindset is basically now. So
Unfortunately.
unfortunately, now that's when you need to work together to empower girls and give them an equal opportunity in this area to grow as well. And gradually, it's basically, we see the number, for example, in our university, 60, 70% are the girls
Oh, wow.
which are enrolled in MAS. So that shows the resilience. They wanted to come forward. And now there are certain taboos as well. We need to basically, give them a fair chance, give them that conducive environment where they can flourish. And that's something which is perhaps needs a little work. More work is required in order to facilitate and also clear their understanding and create more awareness what is in it for them.
Yeah.
So that's very lacking. What is in it for them is a question where the girls can be convinced that in a short span of a period they can do wonders by understanding the science concepts.
It's also interesting that you have a lot of exposure, and your exposure is not limited to one place. And being a Pakistan-U.S. Alumni Network member, you are a Fulbrighter, you're also a Commonwealth member. So you have gained your knowledge from a lot of places. What do you suggest? What are their opportunities? What are the opportunities student would be looking forward to? So are there any recommendations for these students?
Well, thank you very much. And I'll take this opportunity to thank my sponsors for that as well, to give me an opportunity. So when I was growing as a faculty member, as a college teacher at that time in 96 was a time. So I started my career, and 99 was the time when I got selected for two scholarships. One was a Commonwealth and one was a Fulbright for PhD. Fulbright was basically went to the second phase, and the Commonwealth was secured. So my first priority was to get that scholarship, but I was not sure what is going to be happening. So I did not wait for that, and I had, opted for a Commonwealth scholarship and did my PhD from University of Glasgow. There are so many opportunities available, provided the resilience is there. And for the girls specifically, I've seen that the number of girls in recent times is going up. And that's a positive thing. And those areas like engineering, which you won't find girls growing, I've seen those in STEM, engineering, technology, which is very important in terms of bringing new thought process in this particular area, and I'm sure this will help. So, but more is required, obviously.
As you talked about your connections, so do you feel that being part of this network helped you grow as well? Are you still very connected with PUAN, and does it still help you grow? And how it has influenced your work that you are doing? And because has it shaped you? As you said that things were very different when you got the opportunity. So how has it shaped you, and how different it is now?
Well, it certainly helped me a lot. My early background was a government schools, high schools, government college Lahore, Qaeda-e-Azam University. As I said, the resource deficiency was always there. But giving me an exposure to those top universities, to the laboratories, and I brought a lot of experience with me in terms of establishing this new department here, now which has grown a lot and has also remained number one in life sciences over the years. Now, PUAN has also helped recently in various ways in promoting STEM.
Yeah.
One of the funding which was given to me was a master class, which helped me to basically devise this module to train young as well as a senior alumni who are working in different spheres of life, that how science can be connected, who are people working in even different disciplines through one common theme, which is a One Health.
So is there any concluding remark? Is there something that you would like to say?
I wish, Pakistani universities one day can be like Ivy League universities.
Once again, thank you so much for your precious time, and thank you so much for honoring us with this intellectual talk. And I'm hoping everyone get to see this and learn something from you. Thank you
Thank you
so
very
much.
much, Kishmala, and thank you for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.